Hi, all you hot listeners. Welcome to episode 33 of Husband and Wife Talks. On today's episode, we'll be very healthy. We'll talk about fitness, the keto diet, and we'll have a long rant about food. Stay tuned. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Marta.
How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm well.
We're just sitting here recording another episode of the Hot Pod, episode 33. How excited are you?
Couldn't be happier.
We have a very, I think, lengthy, would you call, discussion or topic for our interesting tidbit segment of the podcast, which will be coming up, so stay tuned. A little teaser right there.
Yeah.
But this is January 22nd.
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday because we release every Tuesday.
National Blonde Brownie Day.
Now, are you a fan of blonde brownies? Aren't they just like butterscotch versions of it?
I love any brownies, so yes. So, according
simple answer.
According to the interwebs, a blonde, everybody knows what a brownie is. It's just a brown little dessert. But for blonde brownies, in place of cocoa, brown sugar is used to give it a sweet tooth, satisfying molasses flavor.
Oh, it's not butterscotch. It looks more like a cookie bar, basically.
No, you can. It says people add things like white chocolate or chocolate chips to the blonde brownies, or nuts, toffee, or butterscotch.
I think I've only seen it where it's more cookies. It makes you want to get a brownie right now, except for we can't, since we are doing something. Would you call it crazy? Not crazy.
No.
Call
Jumping
it
out of
ambitious?
a plane is crazy.
Ambitious, maybe? Competitive?
Competitive. That's a good word.
Since that's how, apparently, that's how you drive us, is you have to put money on the line or something like that.
That's how you motivate me. I'm just like a little, I don't know, a little mouse, and the mouse trap is money. That's a bad metaphor because mouse trap kills them.
Yeah, what are you talking? Are you talking about cheese? Cheese, baby.
I'm like I don't know.
A mouse wants cheese, not the mouse trap. That's how it gets. That's how mice end up in the mouse trap. Is they go for the cheese.
I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm motivated by competition and a little bit by money. So there's that.
So I guess we'll roll right into, since it sort of fits in with what we've been up to this week. Pun, but they don't understand it because they don't know what exactly we've been up to. We've just been hinting around it. But we started a 6-week fitness challenge. Ain't that right, Marta?
That's the truth. Started at our gym yesterday, Monday, January 21st. And it is 6 weeks, so it will end on March 4th, Monday.
6 weeks. Wow, we just started.
I know. Actually, technically, so they were taking, it costs like a little bit to enter because you get a free healthy meal and you get a t-shirt and all this stuff.
And you also get a prize pool at the end if you come in first in some of the categories.
That's why I'm motivated by money, because the prize pool is a whole hunk of cash that I will gladly take when I win. Well, stay tuned in 6 weeks from now if I'm like, yeah, I didn't win. Or if there's no episode released, it might be because I didn't win and I'm a sore loser.
Marta and I are trying to win in each category. There's a men's and a women's, so
yeah,
we're not technically competing against each other, even though I think Marta feels like we are.
But what I was going to say is that, so for this competition, this challenge, it technically started on Monday, the 21st. However, part of this is like your weight, your body fat, and the amount of muscle you have. So the trainer / owner of the gym took your body stats. So like there's a scale you step on and it spits out all this awesome data about your body, and you're like, oh gosh. And then there's little bars there's like green, which is healthy, yellow, which is iffy, and red, which is unhealthy, and it shows you where you are in every category. But anyway, so we got all of our stats done on Thursday after we worked out. So after that, we got home and ate like plain chicken and broccoli or something like that for dinner.
I think the day before we knew we were going to get weighed in, we decided to pack on some of the pounds with chicken nuggets and French fries. To help our odds.
That, and then sometimes, when you're not feeling the best, if you're under the weather or Mother Nature's trying to swing by town, if you know what I'm saying, chicken nuggets were in order. If you don't know what I'm saying, if you don't know, you don't know.
And apparently that whole week I had a code sign language for the chicken nuggers. I would go roar like a dinosaur and go bok bok, and then she would know.
I knew. Wow, I don't know if that's romantic or pathetic, but
it's cute.
It was hilarious.
I say it's cute, and be damn darn anybody that says otherwise.
Okay, so should we explain the challenge?
Yeah, I was going to let you lead the way on this.
So you ask, how do we win the challenge? Or more specifically, how, Marta, will you win the challenge? Great question. Thank you so much for asking. So it's points based. So you get 1 point for every pound that you lose of your body. So if you weigh 198 and you get to 197, that's 1 point. Just in case there was any confusion about what 1 pound and 1 point mean. 2 points for percent body fat lost. So if you're at 99% body fat, I think you're obese, heavily obese. But if you go to 98, you get 2 points for that.
Wow.
Right. I'm giving very lofty examples. Except 199 pounds is not... No, someone 199 pounds would not be 99% body fat, so I probably should have said something way higher.
I don't think anyone is really harping on this too much.
That's true.
Your accuracy with this imaginary person.
That's true. 3 points for pound of muscle gained. So the statistics on our body that we got done by this body scale on Thursday, it tells you how much you weigh, obviously, because it's a scale, and then it tells you how much body or how much muscle you have in your body, and then how much your bones weigh, and then from subtracting out that, it tells you how much fat you have, and then it calculates the body fat from that. So since this is a gym where we do weightlifting and mixed with a little bit of cardio, the whole point is you're not just starving yourself for 6 weeks to lose weight, but you're eating well but also working out so that you can build muscle and not just shed pounds. Because for gaining a pound of muscle, you earn 3 points. So really, it's a lot more advantageous to gain muscle than it is to lose weight by starving yourself, which is never a good thing anyway.
That's what I appreciate about this. It seems like it's more of a emphasis on just getting fitter, more fit than just losing weight. And the whole purpose is the people that run the gym also help with nutrition plans and everything, so they want to make sure you're eating properly. And I think the main reason he stated that he wanted to start off doing this is that a lot of times when people go through the 6 weeks, after the 6 weeks they just continue with that process just because that's what they've been up to. And I mean, after 21 days theoretically something becomes a habit, so eventually hopefully it'll become a habit for us, and we only cheat, theoretically, a cheat meal ever so often, like holidays or something like that.
And when you're eating healthy, I feel like once you're already in that mentality, it's not really a cheat because you're used to eating well, so you just eat something, I guess. I don't like the word cheat because it sounds like you're not allowed to eat it. But once you're already in that healthy mentality, you don't feel like you're cheating because
you're enjoying it, you're savoring it.
Yeah, you're savoring it. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. You're savoring it because you know that you're not going to have to starve yourself for a week or 2 weeks to get back to wherever you were because you're consistently eating well and exercising.
And the one thing I remember that I thought was sort of stuck in my brain and was like, oh, that makes sense. I don't know why I never thought about that. But when you start, if you're eating healthy and getting fitter and you're gaining more muscle and you're dropping body fat percentage-wise, once you're doing it more and more, your metabolism starts to speed up more and more because you then build up muscle and you're burning more calories and things of that nature. So when you get more fit down the line, and then you do have that more savory option because you want to enjoy it, you'll burn it off more quickly and it won't affect you as much as if you weren't working out and not eating properly,
True. And I just found from WebMD, which if you're not familiar with the site, it's where you go and where they usually tell you your arm's falling off or you have a very severe form of cancer when really you just have a paper cut. Maybe that's not just my experience, but WebMD always really, really scares me.
Ditto. I start reading it. I'm like, oh, I could have this. I could have this. And I start like getting the sweats and I get really nervous.
Same.
And then I go to the doctor. It's like, oh, you have a cough. You're fine.
Seriously. But this WebMD article does not tell me that I have cancer, although it wouldn't even know if I did. That would be a real doctor's visit. Anyway, on a less morbid note, it says that according to Wharton, so I'm not sure if it's Wharton Business. Oh no, Wharton is the last name of a certified personal trainer. There you go. But according to this man, 10 pounds of muscle would burn 50 calories in a day spent at rest, while 10 pounds of fat would burn 20 calories. So that's pretty interesting. For every 10 pounds, or I guess 10 pounds of that versus that, you burn 30 more calories. So it's pretty cool.
So basically every pound of difference of muscle to fat is 3 pounds? No? Yeah.
You said every pound is 3 pounds.
3
calories?
Calories, yeah.
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 We're good at math.
We're engineers.
But, I mean, that's pretty cool because you could just be sitting on the couch and if you and your friend both weigh the same, but you have more muscle and your friend has more fat, you could be eating the same. Yeah. Like, say you have the same build and whatever, but you would be burning more because you have more muscle, which is cool and a good reason to. And I feel like I don't want to rant about this the whole time because we do have other interesting topics to get to. But I do want to say that I feel like I had a negative stigma of lifting weights for a while. I was like, oh, I'm a girl. Like, I don't want to have big arms or like bulky legs or, something crazy. But I feel like, honestly, at our gym, it's mostly girls. I'm not sure why. I mean, at least the high intensity interval class that we go to, the HIIT, it's mostly girls. And I feel like even the girls that have been there for a while, none of them look crazy. I mean, they're not crazy, meaning none of them look like crazy intense bodybuilders.
But the
they
one
just
thing
look
I've noticed
fit.
that they do is they a lot of times use, I think, weights that give them enough resistance, but they can do a lot of reps of them. Because that's, I think, at a certain point, if you want to get more tone, from what I remember, is you decrease the weight and you just increase the amount of reps. I think that's probably what they're trying to do.
Makes sense. But, yeah. So if you're a woman listening or a girl, don't be afraid of weightlifting. You're not going to look like a bodybuilder from going to the gym once and lifting 10 pounds, which is what I mean, that was a hyperbole, but I kind of thought that, so I didn't like weightlifting. But to be honest, I like it a lot more than running, which, to my next point,
Nice
I ran...
segue.
Thank you. I ran 11 miles yesterday, all at once. I ended in a vertical position. Barely. Just kidding. It was fine. I ran 11 miles.
She's not talking about horizontal running. She's talking about vertical
Not the Pitch
running.
Perfect version, if you've seen the movie. But yeah, 11 miles to prepare for my impending upcoming half marathon, which I've never done a half marathon. 11 miles is the longest I've ever ran. So we're making our way up there in the mileage. We'll see how this goes. Every time I run, I'm like, why am I running? No one's chasing me.
And you ran so long that you were able to finish a movie, right?
I finished the entire movie of Dumplin'
Yeah.
on Netflix because I downloaded it ahead of time and I brought my iPad and I just propped it up on the treadmill. Literally like 10 people went into and out of the gym and I ran on the treadmill because it snowed recently in Denver. So the sidewalks are icy and I'm not running on ice.
How was the movie, by the way? I don't think I've ever had asked.
It was fine. It was about a heist. I was shocked because usually in Netflix movies, I don't see, also I'm not a really big movie connoisseur, so forgive me for what I'm about to say, but never see really big name actors or actresses.
They're starting to get them more and more, I guess, because the budget for these movies and TV shows are getting higher and higher.
Probably. Or even if there were big name actors or actresses, I've never noticed. But in Dumplin', Jennifer Aniston was in it, and I was like, oh, wow, I've never seen such a big name person in a Netflix movie. But anyway, Dumplin' is about a girl. Jennifer Aniston's the mom, and she's a pageant mom, and she like goes to pageants, is in really good shape, blah blah blah. And she calls her daughter Dumplin', and her daughter Dumplin's in high school, and she's overweight, and there's just this
A little fluffy.
whole. She's pretty large, not a little fluffy. But it's, I don't know. It has cute moments. I don't know if I'd call it a rom-com. It has some rom in it, some romance. But I just call it like a cute little chick flick kind of. It was perfect for running on the treadmill because I thought I was really debating what to watch, and I was like, maybe I'll watch Black Mirror. And then I thought, I don't even understand Black Mirror when I'm laying on the couch, 100% focused on it. How am I going to understand it when I'm running and like in La La Land?
And I feel like you need a more uppity thing to watch when you're running on the treadmill to keep you going.
Probably.
Than Black Mirror.
Well, then that ended, and I still wasn't done because longest run of my life. So then I watched a part of an episode of Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. And I was like, this is not very good to watch while running. And it was sad because it was the one with the woman who was a widow. And she was getting really emotional. And I was like, I'm about to start crying on the treadmill. And there's people here like, what is wrong with this girl? Why is she so sweaty? But anyway. That was my cool thing from yesterday. Cool thing I'm looking forward to is a few of my friends are visiting this weekend. And
Your friends.
My friends.
As you put in the Google Doc. And
we're going to stay, we're renting an Airbnb or VRBO. I forget which website we used to book, not that it matters. But we're staying out in the mountains and skiing for a few days. So I'm excited. It should be fun. Girls' weekend. Let's make a movie out of it.
I'll just be chilling here.
Which reminds me, this is super random, but every movie that's about like a bachelorette weekend, a bachelor weekend, a girls' weekend is insane. Do people... Okay, hit me up if that's ever been your weekend, because I would love to interview in the podcast and like learn about your life, because my girls' weekend does not look like that. It is not... I mean, I won't even go into detail, but sometimes they just wake up. Like, what was it? The bachelor party movie where they were like drunk in Thailand. Hangover. That movie was, that was obviously crazy. And then there was one with the girls that went to a bachelorette party, I think, and the girls were in Louisiana, and it was really crazy too. Why am I talking about movies? I'm not a movie person. I don't know.
You just went off on a tangent. I just asked you how the movie was, and here we are.
Oh, speaking of movies, this is a huge role reversal.
I know.
So then, after I ran, I took a bath, in case you were curious about my whole day. And the water was very lukewarm/cold, but that was not my point at all. My point was that I started watching It Takes Two with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, because I don't think I've ever seen it. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty much like Parent Trap, but a little bit of a different plot. But it was cute. I liked that as a wholesome, cute little movie. Anyway, I'm done ranting.
You done? You all movied out?
All movied out. Enough? The 2 movies I've seen this week. All yesterday, actually.
So we can continue, I guess, to our interesting tidbit topic. I don't know what to call the segment, but interesting tidbit of the week. And it was sort of brought to our attention. Well, not our attention, but it was brought to the podcast basically last week when Marta was talking about eating healthy and things of that nature. And it's about the keto diet and what exactly it is, and if the benefits and the disadvantages to the keto, basically the pros and cons of keto, we are going to discuss or touch on, since we were kind of curious, because I don't even know what it is. I just heard about it, and you enter like a sort of ketosis type state, whatever that is, but I think we'll get more into it now. Did you want to start it off?
Sure, I'll kick things right off. Well, that's actually what you did, so I'll just continue. But the keto diet is a low-carb, high-fat diet, so you don't eat a lot of carbs. You eat a lot of fats, and I'll get into the different types of foods that you can and can't eat in those particular categories. And it shares some similarities with the Atkins and low-carb diets. I've never actually heard of Atkins, but I guess if you have this similar...
I feel like I have, but I feel like it was one of those fad diets that come and go. But I'm not sure if it's still around and people still do it. It may just prop up randomly when people are looking at diets to do.
Possibly. So it involves drastically reducing how many carbohydrates you consume and replacing those carbohydrates with fats. So this reduction in carbs puts your body into a metabolic state called ketosis. And when your body is in ketosis, it becomes very efficient at burning fat for energy. So instead of burning, I don't know, carbs, I don't really know what else your body would burn. Or just burning things. No, I'm saying instead of burning fat exclusively, which is what keto sounds like, would your body normally just burn kind of...
It can burn muscle, it can burn fat.
I guess, yeah, you can burn muscle if you're not eating enough protein. True. So it's this ketosis state.
Glycogen, I think, is another...
Oh, that's what I was reading when I had my run, that an extended amount of cardio depletes your glycogen stores.
Is that why you actually eat carbs? Because it produces that, right? Or
yeah.
Could I be
Well,
wrong?
it refills your glycogen stores. So when your body is in ketosis, your body becomes very efficient at burning fat for energy, and then it turns the fat into ketones in the liver, and that can supply energy for the brain. So that's just a super biochemistry explanation of what the keto diet is.
You want me to continue with the rest, or?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Unless I know you like reading, but I'll continue, I guess, until you told me to stop. So one study apparently found that people on this keto diet lost 2.2 times more weight than those on a calorie-restricted low-fat diet. So foods that actually need to be reduced or eliminated on keto diet would be anything carb-based, like grains, sugars, legumes, rice, potatoes, candy, juice, and even most fruits. I'm a little sad about that potato thing, not gonna lie.
Well, why are you sad if we're not doing keto?
No, I'm sad for the people out there. I'm empathetic. I feel bad for them. They're not having potatoes, the deliciousness of potatoes. So based on the majority of your diet on foods such as meat, so it's based on just eating meats, fish, eggs, butter, nuts, healthy oils, avocados, and plenty of low-carb veggies. It makes sense with the avocados because avocados are very heavy in fat. And
that is
healthy
true
for you. Although the keto diet is considered safe for healthy people, there may be some side effects while your body adapts. This is often referred to as the keto flu and is usually over within a few days. The keto flu is actually one of the drawbacks that we'll get into later. A keto diet can be great for people who are overweight, diabetic, or looking to improve their metabolic health. It may be less suitable for elite athletes or those wishing to add large amount of muscle. Now, this seems like we're kind of promulgating the idea that keto is a good thing.
Well, you kind of just read off the bullets.
Exactly.
So we haven't really had much discussion on our opinions yet.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't think that we're in just promoting it. It was just sort of us giving what we've seen online, talking in the pros about keto. Should we go into what against it and then do our thoughts, or do you want to give thoughts right now about what we've touched on?
I think it makes sense to give arguments against it, since this first section that we discussed was an overview and then also some pros about people losing weight, and then it helping people who are overweight and diabetic and just trying to help work things out on the inside with this ketosis state. But arguments against it, there definitely are some. If you just Google keto, you'll find, just like with anything on the internet these days, if you Google it, you'll find pros and cons and people that support it and people that don't. But according to one clinical dietitian, this is all going to be kind of against the keto diet, and then we'll share our opinions. But once your body enters ketosis, you also begin to lose muscle, become extremely fatigued, and eventually enter starvation mode. Then it actually becomes even harder to lose weight. So this sounds like a little bit more of the extreme. Once you're in ketosis and you're not, I guess, getting enough protein, you would lose muscle, because if you are eating a healthy amount of protein, I don't see how you would start to lose muscle, unless I just don't understand the actual macroscopic nature or microscopic nature of ketosis on a molecular level. But anyway, the 7 dangers of going keto. from health.com. The first one is keto flu. And keto flu is actually something Adam just mentioned previously that people can get when they first start the diet, because usually your body runs out of sugar, but when it runs out of sugar and has to start using fat to burn, that transition can make your body feel really tired because you're not used to burning fat. So your body's just not handling that metabolically, I guess, the way that it could or should. Another danger, diarrhea. No explanation needed. If you're not sure what that is, Google it.
Don't like it, don't want it.
Don't look at images, though. It's definitely don't want to see that.
Why wouldn't you look at images of diarrhea?
I'm saying if someone doesn't know what it is, sometimes you look at Google images, just don't. Reduced athletic performance is another danger, which makes sense because we just read that it's not suitable for elite athletes. So if you're trying to be a bodybuilder, or even probably like Adam or me, trying to put on a little bit of muscle, probably not going to help you there if it reduces your performance. Another danger is ketoacidosis. So for people with diabetes, ketosis can trigger this ketoacidosis effect. And ketoacidosis occurs when the body stores up too many ketones, and ketones are acids that are produced as a byproduct of burning fat. So when you're going through keto, or you're in ketosis and you're burning fat, your body could start storing up too many ketones, and your blood will become too acidic, and that could damage your liver and your kidneys and your brain. And when your liver, kidneys, and brain are damaged, left untreated, it could be fatal. So that sounds more extreme as well. As with anything, if you start down kind of the wrong path and it is just negatively affecting you more and more, then eventually it'll start affecting your vital organs in a very negative way, which is exactly what that is. Another danger is weight regain. So since this is a low-carb diet, as soon as you start eating carbs again or reintroducing carbs into your daily diet, you'll likely regain the weight back.
I think that's mainly because people start eating a lot of carbs too, and that puts on the pounds as well.
Mm-hmm. Last two are there's less of a muscle mass developed on the people, or your muscle mass just decreases, which decreases your metabolism, and then an increased risk of heart attack and diabetes. So none of those sound good if you ask me. But I mean, we did read just previously some benefits, so it's definitely kind of a personal decision. We just wanted to provide more information, since on the last episode we were talking a little bit about it, and I kept saying I'll do some more research. So
I held you up to it.
Doing research. Well, not doing it. I'm already done. We've shared some information, and now we can get into our discussion about what we think.
It seems like, to me, I would not like it, mainly just because I feel like I don't like being sluggish. So when you reduce carbs, you reduce like your energy gain throughout the day, and I feel like I would just be sluggish and not enjoy being in this ketosis state. Especially because it seems like from when I looked at what caused, like what's bad about it, a lot of times what was stated is that it's a lot of just water weight that you lose and not actual fat burned. And like I've seen with a lot of fads and dietitians, it doesn't influence your actual eating habits going forward. That's the one thing I am a little iffy with these type of quote-unquote diets, is you do it for a certain amount of time, but it doesn't really change how you go about eating and looking at food and what's beneficial for you. Because I think at the end of the day, I mean, I think carbs always get a bad rap, it seems, but carbs are beneficial for you if you get the right type of carbs and not through processed food, which I think I mentioned last podcast. But I just think, I don't know, I don't think keto would be my cup of tea personally, but what do you think?
No, I have no interest in keto. I didn't even really want to spend this much time on it on the podcast, to be honest. But after mentioning it on the last one, I did want to do my due diligence and share both the background and pros and cons. But Personally, I'm not interested in it for similar reasons that you mentioned, Adam. One is that it's not something sustainable. Anything that's a diet is not long-term because you're not going to be able to sustain it for the rest of your life, and that's what your goal should be, because once you get to whatever your goal weight or goal body fat or goal whatever is, you should be able to keep that. I mean, yeah, stuff happens in life, like traumatic events, and for women, if you're having a child and giving birth and postpartum, like obviously your body's going to change and you're not going to stay at the same weight forever. And as men and women's metabolism slow down, like people usually start, that's why you see men as they get older with bigger bellies, and women get a little bit fluffier as well. But this just doesn't seem sustainable because, okay, you do keto for a month, 3 months, 6 months, but what happens when it's Thanksgiving and you want, well, no one eats pasta for Thanksgiving, but potatoes have plenty of carbs. You're not going to eat it? Or are you going to go so far extreme because you missed having it that now you just undid whatever weight you did gain? So for me, I think I'm kind of starting to not like diets, because with my experience, whenever, not that I really did diets often, but I would like try stuff for a short period and be really extreme, which this 6-week challenge kind of sounds like, but I'll get into that a little bit in a second. One, it has to be sustainable long term. And two, you have to be getting a healthy mix of your macronutrients. Like you said, your body still needs carbs. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine doing cardio or going for a run. How would you do that if you're keto? I'm not an elite athlete, but I still needed to give myself a lot of carbs. I burned over 1,000 calories. Like you can't just come back from that and lay on the couch, or you'll probably pass out from not having energy.
Yeah.
So I feel like in all of this sense, I am happy that we're doing this 6-week challenge, because I feel like we're not being super obsessive about it. We're trying to make sure we go work out a good amount so that we are giving our body the chance to build muscle mass, but we're also paying attention to what we eat, but we're not like label reading where we're going crazy and like, oh, this has blah, 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 we can't eat this, or this has this, or we have to measure it in a container. Like, I think our trainer did say to roughly keep track of calories, because he gave us ranges of approximately how many we should eat.
I think he mentioned that just so at the beginning, so we then understand like what certain things have in the future going forward, not to constantly count calories.
Yeah. So for me, I've been trying to just to get a better sense, because I feel like when he gave me a number, I didn't really know, is that a lot? Is that a little? How much do I eat now? So I like keeping track of it, at least in this beginning state, because it helps figure out like, oh, this chicken has this much. And veggies are pretty minuscule. It's not even worth counting. But different sauces and peanut butter and bread and just everything. And it really is interesting, I think, to keep track of even like macronutrients, because our trainer said not to eat a lot of carbs before bed. So one day I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll make sweet potatoes with whatever, or regular potatoes with what we were eating. And I didn't really realize that potatoes had so many carbs. Yeah. So I feel like in this challenge, I'm learning things that I want to use for the long term. Like, not that I'm never going to eat potatoes before bed again.
But you'll just switch it for what we eat at lunch.
Yeah, I'll just eat more carbs earlier in the day so that my body has more time to process them and I'm not carb loading and then go to bed. Not to say I'm never going to have ice cream again, just probably not for this challenge, because I want to win. But I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to learn habits that are more sustainable for life rather than being super, super restrictive and then maybe get better results, but then maybe as soon as you quit, you'll go back to where you were.
But it's so true, where I feel like a lot of the times it comes and goes where people mention certain things are bad for you. Like they could say like, oh, fatty foods are bad for you. Well, not if you eat the proper fatty foods like avocados. Well, eating too many carbs is bad for you. Well, not if you eat like good carbs versus like
fruit and potatoes have carbs.
Exactly. And
so
I think
does cake.
I feel like people get this stigma, and I don't know what caused it or what why people start thinking this way, but I think people get a stigma about certain things like, oh, I can't have too many of this. It was like, no, you can just have the proper amount that you're supposed to have per day. And I think the person at the gym mentioned was just eat like 2-to-1 protein, or no, 2-to-1 on a realistic timeline would be carbs to protein during, like, if you want to gain muscle mass, I guess, and lose some body fat percentages. You would try to make it more of a 1-to-1 ratio. But I just think it's all about, I feel like we've gotten away from serving sizes. I think you see them on the back or on the nutritional facts.
We meaning like a society doesn't care about them anymore?
Collective. Well, I don't even know if it's society. I think it's mostly, I want to say, the US of A. Seems like.
Do other countries have such an obsession with nutrition facts?
No, but I just feel like they eat the proper amount. It's not like they're reading it, but they're not eating like gigantic portions and serving sizes. Because I think when you go from the other countries that we've gone to, the serving sizes don't seem as large as what you see in some of the American restaurants here. If that makes any sense. And I feel like a lot of times we just keep eating and eating, not realizing you need your brain to process a little bit to tell you, hey, I'm full now, and that's close to a serving size. I mean, that's the whole point of serving sizes, is to tell you what you should theoretically be eating, not overeating.
That's true. That comment reminds me of a book that I read. I don't know if I own it or if I read it on my Kindle.
You definitely own it, because I remember you had it.
How do you know what book I'm about to talk about?
Are you talking about the one where you cherish your food and things of that nature?
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it in a while. I wonder if I lent it to my mom and she never gave it back. Oh, no, I think I see it. Okay, sorry, Mom. Didn't mean to be on the spot there.
Do you want me to get it for you, or are you good?
No.
Okay.
So there's this book called French Women Don't Get Fat, The Secret of Eating for Pleasure, and it's by Marielle Juliano, I'm not sure. But it's called French Women Don't Get Fat, and it's, at least the one I have has a blue cover, but I'm pretty sure there's only one book with that title. But I bought this book because I saw, I think a blogger or vlogger that I read or follow was reading it, but I actually had heard about it before, and I didn't really know what it was. I was like, French Women Don't Get Fat, that sounds weird. I don't know if I want it.
Very clickbaity title.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, what is this talking about? So it's a #1 national bestseller, and pretty much what it's about is, it's not a diet book, but it talks about how in France, and I think this is also applicable to some European countries as well, is that they don't get fat because they savor their food and they don't always indulge it as much, I think, as, I don't want to be stereotypical, but I feel like in general, Americans are more overweight. I feel like that's a statistic. Like, there's,
yeah, I think that is.
Percentage-wise, there's more overweight Americans than French people, but you can fact check me on that one if you'd like. But anyway, this book is about how they enjoy their food while staying slim and healthy, because they have active lifestyles, and they also balance movement with indulging in their food at a healthy amount. Just like naturally, they're following their body and their body's signals instead of stuffing their face with 12 chicken nuggets and a pound of fries and then in 5 seconds and then realizing, oh my gosh, I'm so full.
Yeah, United States is 12th on this list that I found on World Population Review, and all the other ones.
12th of what? 12th for what? Obesity?
Yeah, most obese nations. But the nations above them are a lot smaller, so I think it's pretty significant if the United States, such a large country, is still ranked pretty high comparatively.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But I feel like it just shows the problem that there is in this country with what you were saying about food portions and even also movement. Although something that the trainer or the coach, whatever, at the gym was saying is that you can't outwork your bad food choices. And I feel like that is something that I always heard, and I was like, okay, that sounds really stupid, whatever. Like, if I work out 3 hours or 2 hours, like, obviously I can burn off that brownie. But I feel like even in the past, I don't know, not few days, but week or 2 weeks that we've really been trying to eat better and like not eat random snacks or like
Roar.
dinosaur chicken nuggets. I mean, I feel like overall I've always eaten well, but it's always those little things that really add up in calories because you either eat a lot of it or it's like something that actually has a lot of bad carbs and you're not really paying attention. But
and I don't want to be like the person that's like looking down, I'm looking down.
I love cake. I love brownies.
I just want to make that point clear about the serving size thing that I mentioned, that I've done that before too. I don't look at the serving sizes nearly as much as I should, and I definitely have overeaten the amount that they suggest. So trust me, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, and I'm basically I'm one of those people too.
Same. But yeah, I was just talking about the French Women Don't Get Fat book. If you're interested in that, or if it sounds interesting, go check it out online. I guess men could read it too. I don't know. It's called Women, but it's probably because a woman wrote it.
I mean, it makes sense also for men. You should savor your food. I still need to get better at taking my time while eating food, because I think that's the main reason why I don't feel as full after, like, if I'm eating a lot. The reason I don't feel as full is because I'm eating it so quickly, so my body doesn't register, hey, you've already put enough in your body, maybe you should stop.
Yeah. That's another thing. People eat really fast. I do too.
I think that was just ingrained with me because in like kindergarten, first grade, we only had, I want to say like 30-minute lunch periods.
Yeah, but if you think about it, 30 minutes is a long time to eat.
That's true.
We usually, if you time how long it takes to actually eat, I don't think you're eating for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, as a kid, I feel like it's harder because kids like don't want to be sitting down, and your friend gets up and
bouncing around.
Your friend gets up and is done eating, and then you want to be done, so you just shovel the rest of your food in. So.
And it also could have been like the benefit of going to recess earlier or something. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, or your teacher's like, hurry up so we can go do this. So it's not like there's really a culture where you should sit down, which I find is the opposite in the places in Europe where I visited. I feel like food and meals are very much savored, and when you go out to restaurants and eat out at different places, they just take their time, and it's so cool because you can sit at a restaurant. I remember when we were in Italy, we just sat at a restaurant for forever.
I didn't feel like we needed to leave.
No one's kicking you out. No one's being like, excuse me, can I have your check? Sometimes you can't even track down the person to get your check. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I need to go.
Even if it was like packed, they would still just take the time. Like, well, you didn't show up, I guess, in a reasonable amount of time. But I did enjoy that. But before we go into our recommendation, I did want to point out, if anybody's actually on the keto diet, they can email us and tell how it's going for them if they're interested in emailing the podcast. The email is actually in the description. Click on it. It should take you right to email us. So, FYI. So, I guess we'll go on to our recommendations this week. You want us to get us started off?
You can start.
You want me to start? All right. So, my recommendation this week is Big Nerd Ranch. You might not know what that is.
Ranch.
Not the dressing, baby.
Oh, no?
No.
Please explain to our listeners.
That made me laugh. But Big Nerd Ranch it's a company that develops and publishes these books. I think they have boot camps as well for people interested in learning more about programming and software development and things of that nature. And I just wanted to give them a shout out because those are the two books that I've been textbooks really that I've been going through, and I actually really enjoy their writing style. It makes it flow easier. They touch on a wide swath of different subjects, so you are able to touch on a lot of things. It's easier to follow along, and I realized that because I used to use like Udemy for like learning different programming language and stuff. It's just I got tired of having to go back because I missed something or try to re-listen to something, and then also have my headphones in and I couldn't like hear if Marta was trying to tell me something. So I like the fact that it's in book form because then I can go back, highlight, make notes in the book, whatever I want, and then I don't have to be so tunnel focus completely on it, even though I do get to that point, but I can hear my outside surroundings. So yeah, I recommend Big Nerd Ranch. Check out their books. I know they actually have a new edition of the iOS programming coming out in April. Fun fact, I think. So yeah, if you want to learn more about coding, check them out. They have a lot of different books. I've really enjoyed it, and I think it's made me a better coder, so to speak. I've learned more, that's for sure. I don't know why I'm like pointing towards the book.
Adam
no one
has
can actually
his
see.
hand out, like vertically, fully extended, just pointing to the book.
Horizontally.
Whatever.
Vertically running, horizontally pointing.
Whatever. Being sassy.
I'm not being sassy. I'm just making a correction.
My recommendation is nip the sass in the bud when it comes.
Got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other recommendations this week?
Not
for
for
you?
me. All you.
All right.
Baby cakes.
I think I have one or two, maybe more.
Maybe more.
We'll see. Ooh, I just keep thinking of more things.
Well, save them for other episodes, Marta. Don't
That's true.
just throw it all out there. Save
That's
it
true.
a little bit.
Save yourself for the second date, or whatever the expression is.
I don't know if that's...
I don't think that's the expression I was thinking of.
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Anyway.
it's a good tip for young ladies out there.
Save
men.
yourself for the second date.
Oh, yeah, it's
If
probably...
I'm giving advice, I want it to be a little later than the second
maybe
date.
like the 10th, 11th.
I'm not giving any advice on dating. How about that? Anyway, my not giving advice, sorry. Recommendation is one book that I've been reading. Getting to the finish line. I've had some good times and good days and bad days. Bad days like when I just don't have time to read or don't make time to read. But it's called Get It Done. Get It Done by Sam Bennett. And the subtitle is From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day. And I like this book. Actually, when we were in Barnes & Noble, Adam and I, he picked the book out and just gave it to me. And I was like, what is this? And then he told me to read the intro or first chapter or whatever. It was just a few pages. And I felt like it really spoke to me.
It resonated with you.
It resonated with me. So I said yes.
She said yes, folks.
I said yes to the book. Oh gosh, so much cheese. I love cheese. Ooh, I have another recommendation. Anyway, this book.
I know what recommendation that is.
I like this book a lot. It's I think it's 16 chapters and it's 200 pages total. So the chapters are pretty short. I would say the target audience is people that feel like they have some sort of creative idea or any type of idea as a side project that they kind of want to do but aren't sure where to start or how to start. So there's different activities and there's different exercises that get you thinking and taking action and all that. So, and you really can just spend 15 minutes a day. Who doesn't have 15 minutes a day? I know I literally just said some days I don't make time, but don't listen to me. I need to get it done. So, highly recommend the book. Also,
I just wanted to touch on like the whole procrastination thing. Isn't like the main thing with procrastination for me personally is just afraid to start for some reason. Like the whole starting point. And then once I've always noticed when I procrastinate on something, I'm always hesitant to start for some odd reason. But once I start, I always just start just going through because I get really focused and intense on it. And I feel like just the starting point is always what blocks people. That's why I recommend just do 10 minutes. Start with 10 minutes
15.
of something. 15.
They say 15.
Okay, 15 minutes of something. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess up
That's okay.
what you've been learning.
I just trust Sam Bennett.
More than me?
No. I was just quoting this book because it says in 15 minutes a day.
Good save.
And this is my recommendation.
Good
I don't
save.
need to save anything. What are you saying?
You're funny.
Anyway, my second recommendation is string cheese.
There it is. I didn't know if you were actually going to say it because I knew it came to mind. As soon as I saw your eyes like widen when you mentioned cheese and you looked towards the fridge, I was like, I know what she's thinking about.
I have another. Okay. I have 2 food recommendations and then I'm done. I promise. No more. I'll save the rest for next time. I'll save myself for the next episode. But anyway, string cheese. I don't think I ever had it until I went to a work training, and this work training's at a facility that has like tons of free snacks and just it's totally over the top. But they had someone was eating string cheese or we were in a session and someone went out and said, "Oh, do you want anything?" And then they came back with string cheese and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that doesn't look good." And they were eating it and it looked fun. And then I got some.
It looked fun. That's the reason you wanted to eat it, because it looked fun?
Well, I also love cheese. So something cheesy and then something fun sounds just the best. So anyway, then I got some. I think that's where my string cheese obsession really started. I don't know. I like it because you kind of have to work for your food a little bit. You don't have to. You could bite into it, but it's called string cheese. It's not called bite cheese. Every other cheese in the world is a bite cheese. This is a string cheese, so you have to pull it apart like this. You have to pull the strings off. Anyway, so string cheese, I like. It's pretty yummy. Then another recommendation is peanut butter with honey, like in it. If you don't like peanut butter, I don't care. This isn't for you. If you like peanut butter and you're thinking, how can I make it better? I have a suggestion for you. Go to Target and buy the Jif peanut butter
You're not
with
even
honey.
recommending like a homemade peanut butter honey combination.
No,
Just tell people go to Target, buy it.
Don't
It's
be
easier.
silly, Adam. So yes.
What happened to the Marta that would always hand make stuff?
What do you mean what happened? I still hand make stuff.
Just certain things.
I'm not going to what do? Grab a jar of peanut butter. I have to have space for the honey. So do I either scoop out the peanut butter or once I already have, and then I have to
Seems
mix
like you give me a
the
lot of
honey?
reasons why you can't do it. I need one reason why you can.
Okay, motivational Adam. Let's get out of here for 5 minutes while I finish this rant. But anyway, I really like this peanut butter honey combo. It's not too sweet, although I do have a sweet tooth, so don't really trust me on that. It might be really sweet. What do you say? Is it really sweet?
I don't remember tasting it.
You also didn't like Nutella one time, so...
I never said I didn't like it. I said I never had it.
Oh, yeah, but then you did have it.
And I thought it was tasty and very sugary.
Oh.
It makes sense why people like it, because there's a lot of sugar in it.
There is. But anyway, I really liked this peanut butter honey. As I've said 5 times, I recommend it. That's all I have to say.
Do you have any more things you want to throw out there for recommendations since you've given out 3 now?
No, I think that's it.
Any
for
more?
today.
Are you sure?
I'm saving the rest.
You're saving the rest.
Yep.
Okay. This has been a good episode.
I agree.
Did you want to wrap it up for once since you did the start?
Sure.
Do you remember what you need to say?
No.
Okay, we'll work on it for next episode.
Okay.
We'll work on it for next episode. This has been episode 33 of Husband and Wife Talks. Remember, we appreciate you all so much. Please share us with your friends and family. I think they'll enjoy listening to us. We are available everywhere. Most importantly, well, not most importantly, but I don't know what to say, but what most people listen to is on iTunes. So we are there on Apple Podcasts. If you actually listen to us on Apple Podcasts, it would help us out a bunch if you could give us a 5-star rating with our standings and everything. I'm sure you hear the spiel all the time. But we are available everywhere: Overcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, TuneIn, everywhere possibly you can listen to a podcast. So if you share it, your friends and family should be able to find it pretty easily. You can email the podcast, hotpod@gmail.com. The email is actually in the description, along with our Twitter handle and Facebook page. The links are in there. You can click it and go. Bing, bang, boom, easy peasy. Praise technology. But this has been episode 33. We love you so much. Marta, any closing words? You want to add another recommendation?
No more recommendations, but thanks for listening.
Bye.